Greetings. I am Dr. Paulina Van, the author of Agala Healing, an evocative approach to self care, self love, self understanding, and healing. And I have the honor of being the host of the Poetry of Healing on blackdoctor.org. I want to welcome you from all over the world. And if you would like, please let us know where you're joining from, and you can place your place in any greetings in the chat. So, today's show is all about love. And our guest, a special guest, is my pastor, Bishop Keith L. Clark. So, before we bring Bishop Clark on, I'd like to begin, as we always do, with a centering exercise. This is to help us to focus, collect our energy for the time that we will have together today. So, this is a holiday season, especially in the United States, and whether you celebrate it or not, there's lots of activity going on, competing for your energy and your attention. This is one of the seasons that people really want to get together. And this is, as you know, the second holiday season that it's not going to be the way it used to be. So whether you're gathering virtually or in person, you're going to have this activity and challenges around you. So, in life, we hope and pray to find peace in our lives when we are challenged by trials or just challenged, period. And as we approach the end of the year holidays, not only are we busy and have the opportunities to experience the joy of the season, we're dealing with daily drama and perhaps anticipating more drama as we gather during the holidays with people, that we really do love and care about. So we have to make sure that their emergencies don't become our emergencies. For some of us, it may also be a holiday during which it will be the first time that a loved one or dear friend is no longer with us. So these life experiences may bring on depleting emotions such as worry and fear, impatience, judgment. And so we got to take care of our hearts. That is where the healing and the miracles happen. So today for our centering exercise, I'm going to invite you to participate in another heart math exercise. And this one is appropriately called inner ease. And it gives us an opportunity to pause and bring balance to our mind and emotion so that we can act consciously rather than react and repeat the same stress reactive responses. This can help us prevent and eliminate much personal stress. And as all the other practices I've taught you along the way, this is one that you can use to promote fast recovery from stressful occurrences. And you know what I say? I say it's analogous to being prayed up. So by doing this inner ease technique, you're putting reserves in the bank that you can draw upon when you need peace and ease. So we're going to begin. Again, this is a heart math practice called inner ease. And as always, it's an invitation. I'm going to invite you to either lower your gaze or close your eyes if it's safe to do so where you are, not driving or operating any dangerous equipment. And I'd like you to acknowledge the feelings you have right now. Any that are kind of making you feel out of sync, okay? Or maybe stressing you right now. Remember, we're practicing, so nothing too stressful. And they may generate feelings such as frustration and impatience, anxiety. Maybe you feel overloaded. Maybe you just had a disagreement with someone, and so you feel a little bit angry. Maybe you're being judgmental or being judged. And so with this practice, we kind of take a step back, time out, we pause, and we do that heart focused breathing. And so I'll remind those of you who are just tuning in for the first time what that's all about. And it may help. I'm going to step back so you can see I'm putting my hand on my heart so that you can focus on your heart. And I'd like you to take, so the inhales will be through the nose and exhales will be through the mouth. And so when you inhale through the nose, I want you to focus on your heart, imagining it getting bigger. And then when you exhale, I want you to exhale through your mouth and imagine your heart getting smaller. So it's like your heart is breathing for you. You're breathing in and out through your heart or your chest area. Okay, and so it has been proven that you can restore balance and calm to your mental and emotional nature by activating your heart and affirming the power of your heart. Because I've told you in the past, the heart is much more powerful than the brain. And I'll have to revisit that in a future show. But during the heart focused breathing, I want you to imagine with each breath that you're drawing in a feeling of inner ease, relaxation, and infusing your mental and emotional nature with balance and self care for that precious heart of yours. Okay. And just practicing will increase your awareness of when the stressful emotion has calmed into a state of ease. Okay. So I want you to continue doing that heart focused breathing in through your nose, big heart, out through your mouth. And you do it slowly. Okay. The mind and emotions operate on a vibrational level, slowing down the stressful vibration and helping to reestablish the cooperation and balance between the heart, the mind, and your emotions. Okay? I want you to continue to breathe slowly. When the stressful feelings have calmed, I ask you to make a heartfelt commitment that you want to anchor and maintain this state of ease as you re-engage and go about your daily interactions. So I'm going to share how I anchor. And I anchor and I say to myself, I create what I want for this situation. I'm in charge. Okay. And I'll give you an example. I send blessings to anyone who has hurt or disappointed me. Okay. So that's how I regulate this heart, mind, and emotion. Now, we're ending this practice. And to end it, I'd like you to take a deep breath and notice how your body feels. Okay, how does it feel now? Now take a deep breath and bring your awareness back to our session. Okay, I hope that has brought some ease to you because we the goal also was not only to bring you ease, but also to open your heart because we're about to talk about love. All right. So at this time, I want to welcome with just an open heart and tons of gratitude, Bishop Keith L. Clark, our special guest today. Bishop Clark, good morning.
Hey, Dr. Van, it is such an honor and a privilege to be with you this morning. I appreciate the exercise you just took us through. I'm going to have to call you after the show, get some more personal tips on that.
Okay. Well,
that was amazing. That was amazing.
Thank you.
How are you today?
Well, I'm just great. I mean, I hardly slept last night knowing that we were gonna be on the show together talking about love. So I am ready to go. So Bishop, if you wouldn't mind just sharing with the audience a little bit about the wonderful you.
Well, thank you again for allowing me this opportunity. My name is Keith Clark. I am the General Overseer of Word Assembly Family of Churches located in Northern California. We have 3 campuses in 3 different counties, and I've been blessed to serve as the General Overseer for the last 28 years. I am a partner for life with Denise Marie Thayard Clark, and to that union, we have been blessed with 4 beautiful daughters: Kayla, Kaylin, Kelsey, and Kayla. Yes, I named them all K's, Doc.
And they are beautiful.
Oh, they are amazing, amazing. I'm just grateful to God for that. I have been impacted, encouraged, and inspired by what I believe has been divine revelation in the book of regular healing. It has been just phenomenal. And so I'm so excited to be on today to share with you my thoughts and convictions about those things. And to the blackdoctors.org, God bless you all wherever you are. I pray that what we say today definitely encourages you and enhances you.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to echo the beauty of female energy in your wife and lovely daughters that surround you. And I don't, I'm not into adages, but behind every great man, there are what?
Great women.
We're great women. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. So, um, I invited you. I know which poems you want to discuss this morning, but I have no idea where this is going to go because it's just going to be organic and we're going to see. So, Bishop Clark, you're
Well,
on.
let's go at it. Thank you again.
Yes. Hmm.
You know, when I was reading the book, the 2 poems that were just, um, I don't know, I can't even find the word to describe it, that just arrested me and kind of held me hostage for a few days. And that's the one on love and choice. And after reading them, I've kind of combined and hence what we're talking about today. And that is, love is more than just a feeling. At the core of love and being love and showing love is a choice. And I want to know from you, what did you, what inspired you when this piece about love came? And then there's such difference. I don't know if it was the editor who placed the poems in the position they were in. Tell me a little bit about that, because I mean, this love as a choice and both of those pieces together are just amazing. Tell me what inspired you, what setting was going on when you came up with those.
Okay. All right. This is a great question. So, just for those who don't know the history of this book, these 100 poems, and I also call them regalos, as Spanish for gifts, because they were given to me. And so I must give them to the world. I didn't sit down to create them. They were channeled, downloaded from my creator through my heart, to my fingers to this book. And it was because, or is because it's still happening. I still get daily downloads. I'm still writing. It's because I opened my heart. I became vulnerable. I started loving myself unconditionally. So the 2 that you're speaking of, Bishop Clark, I'd like to read. Oh, let me answer your other question, and that was, um, these poems appear in the book in the sequence that they came to me and
Wow.
unedited.
Wow.
So if there are any typos or grammatical errors, I left them because these were messages that God gave me, and I'm not qualified to edit His message. So I just left it the way it is. But
But
so,
before we go to the reading, Doc, you said something that I'd just like to touch on,
mhm.
if we may, and that is, what I'm hearing you saying is that there is power in being authentic. And I think at the foundation of this whole issue of healing, when we talk about all of the things you were talking about in terms of the stress stimulants and how holiday season, when we're able to be authentic, I think we qualify for healing in every aspect. And so as we delve into these pieces about love and choice, I appreciate you saying that, because so many people are hesitant to move with a vision, are hesitant to move and fulfill purpose because they feel as though the way they are is not good enough. And what I'm excited about, Dr. Van, is I have learned from my journey in life that God works with the authentic. And so those of you all who are watching know that you are good enough right now with all the typos, with all of the issues. You are good up, and God can work with that. So I'm appreciative of that, Doc. Thank you so much for saying that.
Well, and you are a very good example of that. You are at the first, when we had the new members, I attended the new members class with you. And I made that mention. I said, I am so glad to be in this congregation with you as a leader because you are so authentic. There is nothing that anyone can say, Bishop Clark, because Bishop Clark will give it to you before you find it. And I really have appreciated this. And this is what's happened with this book, because each poem, it starts with abuse that I experienced in childhood, but that's the only one and that's where I had to open up. But all the remaining 99 is all about healing, and it uses my life to give these lessons about healing. And I remember an early reader said to me, "You're not going to publish this." And I said, "Why? What's the problem?"
Yeah.
It's so personal. And I said, "That's why I have to share it with the world." And there can be nothing. And Bishop, I'm not trying to preach now, but there can be.
You see me got my Baptist rock going.
But there should be nothing in our lives that we don't expose, unless it's something that's going to hurt someone, but about ourselves.
Yeah.
That we should be afraid, because we live freer. And you preach about that. We live freer, we live happier, we live unencumbered, so
it's amazing, Doc. And you see, and I knew this would happen when we started talking. I knew, and that's why I thank you for that again. But what you just said describes the scriptures. And regardless of what one's respective of faith is, whatever tool you've used to gain and to mature in that faith, there are individuals that you learn from who oftentimes, and we see it in the scriptures clearly, are just bare. Here Moses kills a man, and David has an act of infidelity. Abraham lies, and Peter cusses. I mean, all of these guys and women that God uses in scriptures, he uses them to help us by explaining and exposing all of their lives. And I think transparency is the language of those who are authentic.
Oh yes. Oh yes. You can't live unless you're transparent, and so, and you can't love yourself unless you look at yourself. Okay. All right. And my daughter says, you want somebody to love you, you've got to be that person that you want to have in your life. So I'm gonna start with love, because this is, I was just grinning with joy when you chose this, because this has a history. Okay, so for those of you who have the book, this is on page 193, and it's entitled Love, but the letters are in big caps. Okay, so express love from day's start. Express love, it comes from the heart. Express love, it's a fruit from the spirit. Express love, there is no limit. Express love. It's more than a feeling. Express love. It creates healing. Express love. It's God's gift. Express love. It gives my spirit a lift. Express love. Do you know what it signifies? Express love. For this Gemini, it's formative, living optimistic, vulnerable, and eclectic.
Mhm.
And so I want to tell you the story, and I don't know if you remember this, but this was prompted, or the download was prompted after one of your word of the days. Bishop Clark provides us like a 60, 90-second word of the day, 7 days a week at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And you ended it with express love. And then this energy welled up in my heart, and the words started to come down. But I struggled with this, and this was the only one of 100 that I struggled with, meaning part of it came to me on September the 15th, and then nothing on the 16th, a little bit on the 17th, and finally on the 18th, when I got the surge again, a little voice said, call Bishop Clark. And then another little voice said, you can't bother him now. He's preparing his sermon. And so I called you anyway, and you picked up on the first ring. And I said, you remember I stuttered. I said, and I was so excited.
Yeah, I do remember that now. Yes.
And I was so excited because I had not, first of all, had this experience of this download for one poem coming over 3 days, but then the opportunity to discuss with you what love, what was this love all about? Because I didn't think it was an emotion. And I wanted, what you said to me was, we think of love as an emotion, but and I read you what I had written, and you said, but you've turned it into an action.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really profound for me. And we worked out the mnemonic, because I had a little bit, but we worked out that last mnemonic. And then I do a reflective note after I write each poem. And this reflective note, I said, oh, this is the end of the book. I found out what love really meant. I am so excited. I want to shout for joy, but it's in the middle of the night. But then a little voice said, wait, just wait. And so the last poem of the book wasn't written until January 2021. So it was 4 months later.
Wow.
And that one also expresses love. And that's when I knew that the book was done. But the last, it just comes full circle, Bishop Clark. I hope I'm not talking too much. But
no. You are. I'm listening to you, and there's so many things that are going in my mind now that I want to say, and I want to stay within the framework of what you're talking about, and I think this does. Because what I just heard and what I just received from you, Dr. Van, was that happiness has to have patience attached to it. You just shared with us and the world that you were not in a rush with this, but yet you maintained your focus.
mm-hmm.
You maintain your availability and openness.
Mm-hmm.
And then here it is, after getting the idea, putting the pieces together, writing the last poem as it came to you. I'm saying that because I've written 3 books, and every time I've written a book, I rushed to do it, and it never came out. So I only published 1. So what you just said is, to me, in the midst of this love, which that's why I love you, because you're always helping me. And that's an action, isn't it?
Yes.
That happiness that you have received and other people will be blessed as a result of this book was attached to patience. And it seems to me that patience, when I think about it, patience is waiting with the right attitude.
Oh,
Think
yeah.
about that, Doc. It's wait, because the truth of the matter is, when you have to wait, you got to wait.
Hmm.
Two guys are sitting at the bus stop, and one guy sits there, reads a newspaper, and drinks coffee. The other guy, every 2 minutes, runs to the middle of the road to see where the bus is, how far it's away. Both guys are waiting, but only one is being patient. And that's what I gathered from that. That happiness has patience attached to it, and patience is waiting with the right attitude.
Absolutely. It's how you wait. And this is another adage I'm pulling from way back. It's how you wait, how long you will wait, right?
Mm.
Um, because the attitude and being vulnerable and open for the miracle, because we're not running things. We think we are, but
Mm-hmm.
we really are not running things.
Mm-hmm.
And this experience of love being so central, when you told me you wanted to talk about love, um, I looked through the book, and I have written 14 of the poems have love attached to it. And the first one, the first one is "It hurts," and it ends with "I get to live and love." Okay, and during this experience of talking about the poem "Love" with you, I realized that love was not an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until the very last poem that I found out what love really meant. And it is the last one. I'm not going to read the whole last poem, but it's entitled "It's in God's Hand." How
Mm.
appropriate, right? And it ends with, "It's in God's hand, life I make, opportunities I uptake, vulnerabilities I shake, experiences I create." So
Mm.
that's the mnemonic love. I've had a couple of, I've done book launches, and it seems like, and I'm not, how can I say, sexist or anything, but a couple of men have said to me,
Mm-hmm.
that could be their daily affirmation, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the love.
Mm-hmm.
And so we promise the audience that we talk about love as a choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to, what did you want to say anything about choices, or should I read it?
No, let's read it. Let's read it.
All right. So this is entitled Choices, and this is the second one Bishop Clark wanted to explore this morning, and it's on page 132 and 133 of the book, Regala Healing. I get to choose how I live each day. I get to choose my yearning to pray. I get to choose what holds my attention. I get to choose to let go of perfection.
Mm.
I get to choose how bright my light shines. I get to choose my life's guidelines.
Mm.
I get to choose love and laughter. I get to choose the moments after. I get to choose to be kind. I get to choose the moments of forgiveness I find. I get to choose the ambiance of my faith. I get to choose patience and wait.
Wow.
I get to choose taking setbacks in stride. I get to choose the Holy Spirit as my guide. Woo.
Just
Take a
it
deep
it
breath. Take that all in, because you get to choose.
Doc, it was such a blessing to read that. And if I had to choose which one I really, really like, it would be this one. And the reason why, because I get to look at that from both angles, right? I get to look at the fact that the one thing God gave human beings when he created them is he gave them the power to choose, because there cannot be genuine love if I don't have a choice in the matter.
Mm.
And so I look at it from that perspective, but then it takes away the excuses. Because if I'm not living to my full potential, it's because it's a choice I make. You know, like there are those who choose to live by the opinions of people, and then you die by their criticism. But all of that's a choice. And in this culture, and I hope I don't push the envelope too, but in this culture where everybody seems to be focused on self-gratification, we have to understand that kind of mentality can change because we have a choice to think about others more than ourselves. So yeah, that's on fire.
Whoa, whoa. Okay, so I'm going to ask you now. I'm going to ask you now to expound upon. I hope I used the right term, but you know what? It doesn't matter.
We
We,
authentic.
you know what? We all family, so you know what I mean. To connect this love and choice thing. Tell us about that. Teach us about that.
When I think about the two, I think they are the essence. They are the same without sameness. In that, love is me choosing to do what's best for you.
Oh.
And in doing that, there are feelings that are attached, there are emotions that are expressed, but it's a choice that I make. So it's the best picture I have, and this is Sunday morning and I'm getting ready for church.
Yes.
The picture I have is, here this supreme being wants to have a relationship with his creation. And for many reasons, that creation is not in relationship with him. And so he chooses to do what needs to be done so that creation could embrace him again, and he embraced that creation. That's where we get John 3:16. For God so loved the world. God made the choice. And it's just so wonderful, Dr. Van, and all who are listening. Let this be something that I hope resonates in your spirit from this moment until forever. And that is to understand that you are God's choice, not his project, not his obligation, but that you are God, this being. We're his choice. He chose us. He chooses to keep us. He chooses to bless us. It's a choice. And my appreciation of that is to choose what's best for me, because what's best has already chosen me. So see, now I didn't started preaching.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. You warming up. You warming up for your service. One other, before we bring this to a close, just one other aspect. And so we may have viewers who are not Christian and who have, other beliefs, in which we, embrace them all.
Yes. Yes.
So I'd like you to use an example of romantic relationship of love as a choice, to illustrate how important love as a choice is, if you might.
No, I most definitely. This is amazing. This is God's time is not accident, it's providential. We were having this conversation yesterday, Lady D and I. And Lady D and I finally have come to the point where we're ready to really express and to share our journey as a partnership, and even defining that and why we're using that term as opposed to traditional terms. So here's the example I would use. We have made a choice that, come what may, we're going to do purpose together. That's a choice. And because we've made that choice, loving each other, valuing each other comes across now in different ways, because it's no longer an obligation to take care of her. It's no longer an obligation for her to take care of me. It's a choice. And I think in relationships, the best life is yet to be experienced when parties involve, will can be experienced when parties involved look at each other and say, you are my choice. Can you imagine, Dr. Van? I hope there's some brothers who are watching me. Can you imagine if you walked in, man, with some flowers and whatever you're going to give for this Christmas and say to her, you are my choice.
Oh, I don't even have anything to fan myself. I'm gonna use a towel. Oh my gosh. I hope Lady D is listening. Lady D, of course, everyone is his wife, Denise Clark, and beautiful, beautiful. So thank you so much. See, Pastor, I told you, you're transparent. You share, and that's how we grow and just become better, just better. So before we close, is there any last closing words that you would like to share with our audience? I know that I just feel so honored because I know you have a service now to go and preach. And I see that you may be at home, so you got to drive. So I just appreciate you. And I want to make sure, we end so that you have good time to get to church.
I am honored. Thank you so much, Dr. Paulina Van. And maybe one day I can come back and share with your audience how important prayer and lining your energy with your will and what you're convinced God has for you, how important that is. Because this sister we watching now, trust me, I don't know if she got a special relationship with God, but she sure make me feel like she know him a little closer more than other folk do. And so I'm honored, Doc, for the opportunity to come. My closing words are simple. And this is true about everybody who's watching this. Whether you're a Christian, an atheist, whether you are male, whatever, this is true about you. And hold on to this, that you are God's choice. You are whatever that being is, you are choice, which means you are alive, you are important, and you're changing. You are alive, which means you're significant. No matter what has happened, you're here, you're alive. You're a survivor, you're a thriver, you are alive, but you're important. Yes, you are. You are important. And during this holiday season, when there's so many emotions and regrets and thoughts, please remember that you are important. But not only are you important, but you're changing. And you choose, as we learned today, change for the better. Now, that's what I know. And I love Jesus because of that. So I'm just grateful to God. But those things are true. That's my words, Doc. I think that's I'm ready to preach now. I may have to skip breakfast and just go straight to preach.
just preach. Well, Bishop Clark, I just want to thank you for spending the time with us this morning. And I'm going to end our conversation the way you usually end our phone calls. And I'm going to say, I love you, Bishop. You always say, I love you, sis. And I'm going to say, I love you, Bishop. And I want our audience to feel comfortable with learning to open their heart. How many of you say to your spiritual leader that you love them, and I truly do, because you've changed my life. You've made me a more loving wife, mother, sister, aunt, friend, you name it. So go in love, Bishop, and just so grateful for you being here. And I will be online for service. I won't be in the building, but I'll be online. Okay.
God bless you.
Okay. God
Take
bless
care.
you. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Okay. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Uh-huh.
All that good stuff.
Thank you. Thank you. And I just need to take a breath after all of that. It was just so wonderful to hear Bishop Clark's just perspectives and his transparency about love and creating loving relationships. And so, as we bring this to a close, there are a couple things I'd like to remind you of. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat. If you were moved or anything resonated with you during this time, this conversation, please like the channel and subscribe to it as well. And I hope that you have a wonderful holiday. One of the things that I have launched is my new website, so I hope you go to visit it. It's regalahealing.com. So it's the name of the book, regalahealing.com. And so on that website, you'll learn more about me, you'll learn more about the book, you can access the book, and you can review it as well. May you have holiday blessings, and as I always end, love and light to you, and I look forward to seeing you again.